Welcome or welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a set of nails inspired by Starlight Express because I was going to see Starlight Express and I wanted to have a nice set of nails. So unusually we are doing a full set of 10 nails. So we're starting off with one of the thumbnails and we are going to be using one of my Morda palettes. So this is the White Galaxy palette and we're using number 9 from it. So putting this on as a base coat. At the end, I do show you me wearing this set, and this nail doesn't feature in it. When I had finished the entire set, it just didn't match up with everything else, and so I redid it, same design, but in different colours. And if I was to go back and do this set again, there are 2 other nails that I would do the same thing with, that I'd go back and do them with a different background colour because it just doesn't quite match up. So I had not seen Starlight Express. I was going for my birthday with a friend. We both wanted to see it, but neither of us had seen it previously. If you haven't seen Starlight Express, this is one of Andrew Lloyd Webber's musicals. It was written in the 80s and it's basically about trains, which seems like an odd concept for a musical, but this was after Cats, so and it had the same original production team as Cats had. So, you know, odd concepts for musicals were something that they were comfortable with. Which is why you're going to see a lot of train imagery within this. I did a lot of Googling to get ideas for what this should look like. And yeah, so I'll explain the concept behind some of the nails as we go along. So this is the second thumbnail. This is one of the Shea J polishes, and it is one that when you sort of have it on the brush and just expose it to air, it almost looks like just a liquid silver. And that's sort of the look I was going for. When it cured, it didn't keep that, and yeah, I wasn't happy with it, so we cover it over with chrome. All good. It turned out good. So this first thumbnail, we are drawing a train track on it. So this is the second coat of the train track, just to really make it stand out. And I'm using a silver liner gel that I've gotten from Amazon in the past. And yeah, that's sort of what I was going for with that one. Just keep it simple, a train track. This one, I'm looking at it, I'm seeing if buffing it will help bring up that, because it was meant to be like a mirror shine was sort of what I was going with that, and it wasn't really working out. So I'm using the Born Pretty chrome top coat and we're putting that in for a cure. First nail is out. And yeah, there was 2 things. One, you couldn't see very clearly what the pattern was. I absolutely loved the background colour. It just didn't work for this. And then secondly, at the end, it just didn't match the colour scheme. So the majority of the nails were actually done in this blue colour, and that's what it ended up being done in later, was this blue train track back on it and the same top coat then as everyone else. And that's kind of what I wish I did with the others, and I'll tell you which other ones it is later. They had a black background instead of the blue one. So here we're using a holographic chrome top coat, and look at that shine. Even with my terrible camera setup and lighting, wow, you can really see the hollow in it. So that one turned out really well, and we're going to top coat it now, and we're going to come back to it later. We'll ignore it for a little while. and we are going to come back to it later. I do know, and I did know at this stage exactly what I wanted on that. I just hadn't figured out how I was going to do it. So lots of nails. I had some inspo pics on my computer that I was looking at as I was going through this, and was sort of doing one nail at a time and working out exactly what I wanted on them. I wasn't 100% sure. This one, we have skipped a little bit because this was all off screen. I basically put some of that silver from the from the second thumbnail onto my little palette. Used dotting tool to put some dots on the nail, and now we're just creating little stars out of them. And this is my first time doing this, and I'm quite happy with how it turned out. They aren't the most even stars, but then hey, stars don't always look even, so you know, it's fine. You're going to see this base colour a lot. It is, I believe, one of the Dali Lohan ones. I think it's either Larissa or Danica, and I will put into the description box which one it is. I have decided for a bit of fun, you know, to in the centre of each star we are going to have a little gemstone. And again, we're kind of gone off screen a little bit here. It is happening a little bit. There was just so much happening with this set that, yeah, I do go off screen a little bit. I've cut some bits out, and it's just purely because there was so much happening and I was changing my mind about things and I wasn't 100% sure what I was doing. And this nail, all the others got a hollow top coat and this one didn't, and I wish I had done that. That's the other change that I would make. I mean, I could go back and just add a hollow top coat to it now and be grand, but not going to happen. They're all nicely on display in a book, and I just, yeah, it's not going to fit into my nail lamp, so it's not happening. Base coating another nail in that colour, and I mean, I love how that star nail came out. I'm really happy with it. It's just, you know, it kind of stands out because it doesn't have the hollow and all the rest of them have the hollow. It's a minor thing. It's fine. This nail, what am I doing with it? We'll see. I think this is where I'm going to be telling you the story. Yes, I am going to tell you a little bit about Starlight Express if you haven't seen it. So Starlight Express is basically a boy's dream. I think it's the easiest way to sum it up. It does come into the sci-fi genre because very much this is not going to be happening in real life. And it is a group of trains who are having a race against each other, and there is a love story to go with it. So that last nail that I painted there white, that is one of the characters is called Pearl. And so that nail is a little ode to Pearl. On this nail here, I am drawing what is in my head a control panel. That's what it is. So we're using that silver again, and we are just drawing some lines around the nail. I've realized you probably can't see anything I'm doing. I wasn't too far off. So just drawing some lines to create like a control panel or a track on the nail. And that is pretty much what's happening there. So that is the middle nail of the second hand. And they do quite, so the boy in the musical, he is Control. So this is just a little reference to him. And currently, I went to see it in London in the Troubadour Theatre in Wembley. and it's very immersive. Where you are, you're actually inside. Where I was, we were inside the track, so literally like we weren't allowed to move during the performance. We were told, keep your arms inside the seating area at all times. I had to obviously power off my chair because we couldn't risk me just like accidentally knocking it or anything and moving, because literally if I went backwards, I was on the track that they were going to be on. So, lesson for future: if you're going to stick random diamantes onto a nail, top coat it first so that you don't have to try to top coat around a load of little diamantes. I will learn that lesson for future. So all of the actors, the performers, are on roller skates. I lie. All but 3 of them were on roller skates. 2 that were sort of acting as like flag marshals, so they were in and out of different flags and different things to represent all the different coaches and carriages and engines on that were being represented within it. And the control, the young boy, and they were on scooters. And just, it was one of those shows where you're constantly watching everything that was going on because there was always something happening. And I really did need eyes in the back of my head because there were literally performers behind me constantly. And I didn't have, you were just one of those things where you just need to be watching everything, where I need to go back again, watch it again, and be able to see everything. Well, watch it from a different seat and get a different viewpoint and see things that I missed this time. So we're adding some rhinestones to the control panel nail. We have rhinestones on one middle finger. Let's have rhinestones on the other middle finger. Why not? So we've added a couple of different colours there. So you have a couple of main engines. You have Rusty, the steam engine, Electro, the electric engine, and I can't remember, a diesel engine as well. And then you have the different carriages that you get on a train. You have Dinah, the dining carriage. You have Pearl, the first class carriage. So we've just added a pearl there onto the pearl finger. And the pearl inspired nail. Very simple. You have the, what else did you have? You had there's 2 other types of carriages. Dining carriage, first class carriage, the quiet carriage. I love that. The quiet, one of the carriages was the quiet carriage, and the other one, I can't remember what it was. You had different freight carriages then, and then you also had different means of, you had the diesel, you had coal, you had hydrogen, and there was a 4th one now that I can't remember. And basically they were the engines were having a race to see, who was the fastest, the best engine, but they had to have a second one attached to them. And Rusty was a steam engine, was in love with Pearl, who seemed to be the new person, the new carriage in the yard. But then Electra, the electric engine, was this really flashy engine that, was just here and was all new and shiny, and so Pearl was being attracted to that. Here I am drawing a lightning bolt to represent Electro. This is problem with my brain. It doesn't always retain all of the information. But yeah, lightning bolt, because, and I was actually, when I actually saw the show, my friend that I was with, I was constantly going, "That's this nail," and it all works really well. So yeah, the electric engine had like little lightning bolts on his costume, and I'd been thinking about putting a glow in the dark top coat just over the light bulb, the lightning bolt part of that nail that you're now going to see. And I didn't, and I really wish I had, because actually that was the case with the actual costume. In the dark, the lightning bolts on it were still glowing. So we've just tidied that up. We'd matte coated it first, then just drew the chrome, the design that I wanted, the lightning bolt, in a chrome top coat. And then we've and then we've just now added the chrome and then back to top coating it. So this is one of the nails that I painted black that I wish I'd painted blue. I do this on 2 nails. Not a lot I can do about it now. Oh well. There's Pearl. So we've added some caviar beads to her as well. And this is the second nail. So it was on an index finger and a little finger that I did this. No, it wasn't. I move around some of the nails because I think that, yeah, they both came from the same hand, and I decided afterwards, no, I need to change that. So some of the nails get moved around onto different hands. It's fine. They stay, like if they're an index finger, they stay as an index finger. They just sort of get moved around a little bit. So what I wanted to do on this nail, I'm using some white paint from Dolly, and I'm creating the effect. It's done in a couple of stages. So initially I'm just painting, and what just looks like lines that are, you know, sort of doubles of each other, kind of. And then afterwards I go over them in neon, and it was sort of to reflect that when things are moving quickly and if they have light attached. I think when it was originally performed, like the roller skates had like lights in them. It is still performed in Germany. It has been running continuously in a theatre that was built just to perform Starlight Express in Germany since, I believe, 1988. I believe the first performance was 1986. And then, yeah, this theatre in Germany has been hosting it since, it has been running there since 1988. One of the longest running musicals worldwide. I think there's another one somewhere that does Cats and has been running for a similar amount of time. So yeah, we're going over these with white first, and then after that I'm going to go over them in different coloured jelly coats. So that is what we are doing there. Yeah, the show, absolutely amazing. Highly, highly recommend going if you are in London and you need something to do and you can get tickets. Go for it. Amazing. Just like make sure your head's on a swivel if you are going to be in one of the audience parts. I absolutely loved it because it is probably the most accessible show I have been to, you know, because the performers are going around in roller skates. Everything is obviously ramped. And for me, that's amazing because that does not happen. To be going somewhere where everything is ramped and like I can really get into like the middle of the performance is so rare. So for me, it was an incredible performance to be able to go and see and be in the middle of. Literally be in the middle of. And it's just incredible what they can do, like with on roller skates. So we didn't do the normal dancing. There was some dancing. dancing, coordinating everyone dancing on roller skates, well done. Plus singing and trying to keep going, moving around the place. Wow. Just absolutely amazing. Now, this is where the fun and games start, because my plan for this snail was a train, to hand draw a train. And my hand drawing skills up to this point, I've never tried to hand draw anything on a nail. You know, I've drawn a line, just about. You know, I did it on the control panel. I've, you know, the lightning bolt there, the stars. This is the one that I've done the most hand drawing in. My other sets, there's not a huge amount of things. I don't think I've actually tried to, I've relied on foils and stickers and decals. This is my first time hand drawing, because and really it was because I didn't have a picture of what I wanted. And if I'd had a sticker or a decal with a train, I'd have gone with that, but I didn't. And I'm glad I didn't, because actually I don't think it would have turned out as nicely. And like I said, I hadn't seen Starlight Express before this. I was aware of the story ish. I knew it was trains and roller skates. You know, everything else was literally me asking ChatGPT for some inspiration, and it suggested drawing a train on a nail. I was like, okay, fine. And I went with a steam engine, and then one of the main trains is a steam engine. So yeah, that worked out well. But yeah, there's my little hand-drawn train. We will put that in for a cure, and then I add some smoke to it coming out of the funnel as well. I can't remember if I don't think I showed that part, but I did add some smoke to it as well. We're back to that blue again. And at this stage, I'm running out of ideas. It's getting late, and you might only be 23 minutes into this, but I can assure you this was more than 2 hours into me creating the set. I was also doing a live, listening in and participating in a live in the chat of a live at the same time. You know, because multitasking, why not? So that little nail that I've just painted, the entire thing I did out of screen, out of shot. So yeah, we did 2 coats of blue. We then didn't completely cover it in foil gel. I just did like little dabs around the place, and then we used a holographic foil to sort of dab around the place as well. That's pretty much how that one worked. This is attempt 2 at creating a heart using rhinestones. The first attempt, nothing wrong with it. Rhinestones were too big. That was the only issue with it. The rhinestones were too big. It wasn't going to look right. So I was about halfway through it. I was like, yeah, no, let's scrap this and restart. And so we have done it with some smaller rhinestones, and it turned out well. So in the various conversations with ChatGPT, it suggested a heart to represent Rusty and his love. So they all were top coated with a holographic top coat from Dali. That's all the nails. Like I said, the first thumb that I did, that got changed. You're going to see it in a second. They're all getting top coated now if they haven't already been. And yeah, I really enjoyed creating this set. It also fitted in perfectly with the Sci-Fi July theme for lip smacking nails. So the Sci-Fi July theme, this is me just wearing them on the train on the way home. I was amazed they actually lasted. I had put a very thin coat of glue on and some peelable base coat so that I could easily remove them, because I was teaching a first aid course the morning after this. And yeah, so this is my ultimate entry for the Sci-Fi July for Lipstaff Males. Please do check out that channel and all the other amazing creators that are involved in that collab. That's the repeat of the nail, see how it matches in with the others. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please do like, comment, subscribe. Have you seen Starlight Express? Do you want to see it? What's your favourite musical? I'd actually love to know. What's your favourite musical? Especially if it's on in London at the moment. And which ones would you recommend I go and see? Bye!